It's the killing school. Class start next week. You gotta at least have two.
Lil Jeff wasn't just another street rapper. He lived every bar he spit and made sure the whole world saw it, from the hit that took out Monty and Lil Rob to the one that claimed in Lil Jeff wasn't just talking about beef. He brought it live for everybody to see. In this video, we're taking a look at the times Lil Jeff shot his ops on camera, the killing of Monty and Lil Rob. It's crazy how one man can brag about killings via the lyrics in his music and other random videos shared online. It is even crazier that Lil Jeff got tattoos that allegedly signified the number of people he had killed. But for lovers of drill music, this would seem like an entirely normal thing between rappers who beef each other. However, as for Lil Jeff bragging and dead shaming, didn't quite cut it. He attacked his ops on live. One of his very first kills recorded live was near a school premises. The rapper had allegedly attacked two teenage boys, Monty and Lil Rob. In the surveillance footage, the boys were ambushed around the train track not too far from the school. They had been out on a lunch break, but sadly never returned. The clip showed that a pair of armed men who drove by in a dark-colored SUV were responsible for pulling the trigger. They shot at both Monty and Lil Rob with one intention in mind: to end them. Moments after the shooting, the armed men hurried into a vehicle and sped off southwards on Wabash before swerving on Madison Road. Meanwhile, back at the attack scene, a bystander was able to record the whole thing that showed the victims helplessly sprawling on the bare floor. One of the victims appeared like lifeless with his body facing up, while the other tried to struggle some more. The eyewitnesses could be heard squealing in shock and pain as they watched two young male die right in front of them. One of the eyewitnesses recounted that she was grazed by a bullet, but had managed to escape. While the ambush took place, another clip of the shootout surfaced of people running helter-skelter trying to scamper into safety. While all of this was going on, Lil Jeff decided that it was the perfect time to brag about the murders. The rapper shared a clip of himself riding in a black-colored SUV, which was allegedly the same vehicle that attacked the teenage boys. Lil Jeff also donned a black face mask alongside black clothing, which aptly fit the description of the assaults who attacked the boys earlier. In a somewhat brazen manner, Lil Jeff gave off his feeling of being accomplished by vibing and rapping to a song while driving in the vehicle. The rapper did not mind spotlighting the faces of his company, which included two other guys. As if that was not enough self-snitching, Lil Jeff goes the extra mile by claiming the hit on Monty and Lil Rob. Lil Jeff took his usual comfy spot behind the wheels of a moving vehicle while he updated his fans about how the shooting went. Although he refrained from mentioning names, the rapper explicitly talked about firing bullets and wearing black outfit. During the incident, he goes, the __ will start happening, and y'all know this by now. I went black for like a week and poof, where you at gotta go. After that one poof, I came back poof. The Lil Jeff wasn't the only one who was on the accelerator when it came to dissing the dead ops. In fact, the entire Bloodhound crew seemed to be standing on business when it came to claiming the hit on Monty and Lil Rob. One time, when the rapper shared a snap on his stories, fans could see that it was a group gathering that showed each member rocking their icy wrist watches on their wrists while making a toast with their drinks in plastic cups. Lil Jeff's caption on the image read, "This fade my dirty ops that can't sue this no move." While Lil Jeff was at it, Q50, his closest Palin cousin, also hinted that they might have plotted Monty and Lil Rob's deaths. In one of his raps, he raps, "Blooded C said, he trying to go spin, we can spin downtown, let's too." Got left. While some fans believed that Q50 was simply buttressing the fact that they had planned the murders, others thought it was just a diss track. One person quipped, "They purposely leave their lines open for interpretation. It's all a part of their killer humor." Another added, "This really wasn't claiming it, NGL. The only line I seen him claiming it at was when he said we tapped, that we knew he was hit. When he started to hollow the dices kept raining in," with Lil Jeff telling his ops that he was happy they were grieving. In another shared post, he captured his wrist wearing two wrist watches, one of which was a $499 Cartier bust-down special. Lil Jeff captioned the image, "LOL tried to turn me down, but they turned me up." The display of wrist watches as a way of taunting the ops makes sense considering the fact that the entire beef was created after Monty and Lil Rob stole wrist watches and a huge neck chain from Lil Rob. Monty and Lil Rob then go on to taunt Lil Jeff over fake jewelry. In a video, the boys referred to the Bloodhounds as Their ops, although they maintained that the accessory was all fake, they decorated their wrists with the stolen wrist watches, while they swung the neck piece in front of the camera. Lil Jeff didn't slow down in attacking the boys, who took his pieces of jewelry in a retaliatory slip. He goes, I look up the taking off down the stairs with 5 more action. Oh, I'm like, damn, I thought was ganger the whole time. I'm right there wearing with, I'm telling them, we could keep this gang. Unfortunately, Lil Jeff and his crew might have kept things to gangster, but while the rapper adamantly claimed the murders, the police did not label him as the killer. Late last month, after more than 1 year of the murder, the authorities signaled that they had a break in the case. They had arrested a Chicago native named Tommy Coleman. He was arrested in the 5700 block of North Mason Avenue and has since been identified as one of the 3 assailant that gunned down Monty and Lil Rob during his first court appearance. Prosecutors maintained that one of Coleman's accomplices was now deceased. They claimed that he died in June 2024, a few months after the murders. Interestingly, Lil Jeff died in June 2024 while he pursued another victim in the middle of a street, firing incessantly at the other guy. The last person involved in the shooting, according to the police, is James Allison, a 20-year-old, who is now in their custody. He has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count each of attempted murder, among other crimes relating to the shooting. Like Allison, Coleman was slapped with 2 felony counts of first-degree murder and 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder. Next up, we dig into another of Lil Jeff's most talked about murders, the broad daylight hit on Inilambitay on May 5, 2024. A few weeks before Lil Jeff himself was gunned down, there was a shooting in the Chatham neighborhood. Like the previous murders of the Bloodhound Opps, this was an attack that happened in broad daylight around 5 p.m. Precisely. In the video that has since made its way to the internet, these Bloodhound Opps were lingering in front of the Happy Liquor food store in 7901 South Cottage Grove Avenue when they were aggressively attacked by 4 men. In the video, the assailants arrived inside 2 dark-colored vehicles, which they parked on the side of the road. Next, masked men exited the cars and rushed to their targets, and they hurriedly ran off to spray bullets up and down the place. Finally, these armed men retreated and drove off. The first victim was a 25-year-old who got bullet wounds on his arm, leg, and foot. However, he survived the shots, as he was immediately taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center. As for victim number 2, he was hit bad in his foot, but he received treatment in Trinity Hospital. Unfortunately, the third victim was not as lucky. His body was badly injured by multiple gunshots. Upon arrival at the hospital, the victim was declared deceased. The victim who died was revealed to be Inilambitay, who was 36 years old. According to the police, the men who orchestrated the hits were between ages 15 and 25. While the authorities investigated the murder case, trying to catch the perpetrators, they were concerned about keeping the community safe, so they ordered that the liquor store cease to operate. For some time, the Chicago Police Department defended their actions, claiming that they had the right to issue a short-term closure if such a situation posed threats to the public. This closure came 1 day after the shooting. Members of the community agreed to the closure following the deadly shooting outside the property. Michelle Harris, whose ward includes Happy Liquor food stores, shared, I believe we are turning in the right direction with its recent closure, but I need community members, businesses, and block club presidents to speak up and work with me to ensure the location is used for positive business. While the community worked hand in hand with the police to find the murderers, the internet ran crazy, with people theorizing that Lil Jeff was one of the men who pulled the trigger. They analyzed the features of each other suspects who got out of the car before reaching this conclusion. Amid the speculations, some fans wondered why Lil Jeff would shoot at a member from the NLMB, since they appeared to be cool. The commenters suggest, why would Lil Jeff kill somebody from NLMB? They all cool, WTF. Another wrote, probably a shootout with SBL, and the NLMB member was AA area. A third person quizzed, why is everyone just assuming that it's BH and Lil Jeff? They deep ASL on that drill though. While a fourth commenter answered, same infinity, if I'm not mistaken. And one of them, ninja stance with the gun, kind of looked like Q50 to me from the trap video. The Reddit community was solid on the idea that Lil Jeff was indeed among the killers. In a shared post by Chirology on Reddit, the photo showed one of the suspects draped in an all-black attire from head to toe. An added caption suggested he's the one who hopped out of the BMW behind the Infiniti, and it was the same Infiniti that was in the Robin Monty video. Let's circle back on why NLMB was shot. According to a Reddit post, the deceased was the fourth member of the NLMB to die that year. However, he wasn't the one whom the Bloodhounds wanted dead. In fact, theories affirmed that the fight was between the notorious BK and Drill City gangs of Chicago. Unfortunately, what happened that fateful day was a shootout between these groups, and sadly NLMB was caught in the crossfire. Irrespective of who the intended targets, the shootout is peculiar for many reasons. It is a murder that has not yet been solved. The police have neither mentioned possible victims or apprehended anyone, yet the drill community strongly feels that Lil Jeff was a solid partaker of the crime. Lil Jeff's rampage didn't stop with NLMB. Just weeks before his death, he targeted another rival, Lil Pooh. This one was personal, fueled by family ties in a cycle of deadly retaliation. Lil Jeff claims he killed Lil Pooh. Let's first try to understand why it was a bragging right for Lil Jeff to talk about Lil Pooh's death. Lil Pooh was gunned down a few weeks after the death of Z Money. Z Money was Lil Jeff's cousin. He was shot at Avalon Avenue more than 20 times. This death saddened Lil Jeff in Q50, who did little to conceal their grief online. As for Lil Pooh, he was very affiliated to gangs from the east side, including 95MO and Trap City. However, he kept his affiliations to these gangs away from social media. Likewise, he lived very far from these gangs on the outside of Chicago.